In the U.S., numerous legislation aimed at ending homelessness are being passed. A new state rule in Missouri went into effect in January and makes it illegal for anyone to sleep on state property, sleeping on city highways or public parks while homeless carries a fine of up to $750 or, in the case of repeated infractions, a prison sentence of 15 days. The 8 states with the greatest rates of homelessness are mentioned here. More and more of these states are making it illegal to do things like camp in public, sleep in public, or beg for money from homeless people. Number 8. California. A new legislation in California forbids using public space for sleeping, sitting, lying down, or storing personal belongings. The law will be implemented on January 1, 2024, and it will cover all of the state's counties and cities. There are a few legal exclusions. On public property, people are free to sit, lie down, or sleep if they are taking part in an authorized protest or demonstration, awaiting the arrival of public transportation, using a lavatory in public, getting medical attention. Additionally, the law permits counties and towns to identify some regions as safe zones where residents are permitted to sleep. These safe areas, however, have to be at least a mile away from playgrounds, libraries, daycare facilities, and schools. Reactions to the anti-homeless bill have been conflicting. While some contend that homelessness is terrible and inhumane, others think that action must be taken to combat it. In addition, the statute has been contested in court. It is uncertain if this challenge will succeed. 2016 saw the passage of the California Homeless Bill of Rights, which forbids counties and localities from making homelessness a crime. The Homeless Bill of Rights seems to be at odds with the new anti-homelessness law. Nevertheless, the new law will probably be declared unlawful by the courts. Number 7. Florida. Florida is number 7. Anti-homeless legislation has a long history in Florida. These restrictions have been more stringent in recent years, which makes it harder for those who are homeless to survive. The prohibition on camping is among Florida's most prevalent anti-homeless legislation. This legislation forbids sleeping in parks, on sidewalks, or beneath bridges, among other public areas. Additionally, it is against the law for anyone to store their possessions in public areas. The prohibition on panhandling is another prevalent anti-homeless rule. It is against the law for anyone to solicit for money in public. Though the law is also used against other persons, such as tourists, it is frequently utilized against the homeless. Number 6. Texas. In 2021, Governor Greg Abbott signed House Bill 1925, which addresses homelessness in Texas into law. It is one of the state's most contentious anti-homelessness measures. The statute declares camping in an unapproved public area to be a Class C misdemeanor, punishable by a fine of up to $500. Additionally, it is against the law for communities to establish authorized homeless campsites in public parks. The law's supporters claim that it is essential to safeguard public health and safety. They contend that homeless camps might provide health risks and act as magnets for criminal activity. The law's opponents claim it is harsh and unfair to punish someone for merely looking for a place to sleep. Additionally, they contend that the law does little to address the root causes of homelessness, which include poverty, addiction, and mental illness. Texas possesses several other anti-homeless legislation in addition to House Bill 1925. It is against the law to collect money in public, spend the night in a car, keep personal items out of sight, clean clothes in a public setting, start a fire in the open. Number 5. Washington. Homeless in Washington. In the state of Washington, homelessness is becoming a bigger issue. The number of homeless people has been rising significantly in recent years, and this trend is expected to continue. The criminalization of homelessness is one of the issues that homeless individuals must deal with. In Washington, some towns and localities have passed legislation outlawing panhandling, sleeping in public areas, and lying down on sidewalks. It's common to refer to these laws as anti-homeless laws. Washington passed a new law in 2022 to address the criminalization of homelessness. The Right-of-Way Safety Initiative is a statute that forbids localities from executing anti-homeless laws in the vicinity of roads. Additionally, the law mandates that cities give those residing in encampments in designated locations homes or shelters. Although it is not a perfect answer, the Right-of-Way Safety Initiative is a positive step. The core causes of homelessness, which include poverty, a lack of affordable housing, and mental illness, require more attention. Number 4. Massachusetts. Anti-homeless legislation has a long history in Massachusetts. These laws have been used to criminalize homelessness and make it harder for people to get back on their feet by outlawing sleeping, sitting, and loitering in public areas. Massachusetts has a homeless problem. The prohibition on sleeping in public places is among the most prevalent anti-homeless laws in Massachusetts. This legislation forbids sleeping anywhere that isn't a recognized shelter, regardless of how cold or rainy it is outside. People who have been caught sleeping in parks, beneath bridges, or even in their cars have been arrested under this statute. The loitering legislation is another popular anti-homeless law. It is against the law to stand or stay still for an extended period, even if you are not breaking any laws. People have been arrested under this law for no more than waiting for a bus or for sitting on a bench. Massachusetts' anti-homelessness laws have been the subject of reform attempts in recent years. The Massachusetts Attorney General stated in a 2022 opinion that if there aren't enough shelter beds available, the rule prohibiting sleeping in public is unconstitutional. For those who support the homeless, this opinion has been a significant win, but it is only the beginning. Number 3. Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's homelessness issue. There are rules in effect in at least 50 Pennsylvania municipalities that forbid camping or sleeping in public areas. Homeless advocacy groups have attacked these laws, also referred to as anti-homeless laws, for being unconstitutional and ineffectual. Regarding anti-homeless statutes, the Department of Justice has also expressed opinions. The DOJ filed a statement of interest in a lawsuit against the anti-camping ordinance wielding city of Boise, Idaho in 2016. The DOJ said that because the ordinance criminalized homelessness in general rather than any particular behavior, it was illegal. Homeless advocates had great success with the DOJ's declaration of interest, which has since been referenced in numerous cases contesting anti-homeless legislation. Still, there is more work to be done on the matter. While some localities have kept their anti-homelessness laws in effect, others have abolished them. Anti-homeless law is a contentious topic. It makes sense, on the one hand, that cities would wish to maintain safe and clean streets. However, regulations that oppose homelessness may make it even more difficult for people to rebuild their lives. People are more likely to be exposed to the weather, crime, and violence when they are made to sleep on the streets. Additionally, they are more likely to experience health issues. Criminalizing homelessness is not the best method to solve the problem. Cities should make investments in drug rehab centers, mental health services, and more reasonably priced housing. They ought to endeavor to establish more hospitable settings for those who are homeless. Number 2. Arizona. Many laws in Arizona make homelessness a crime, which makes it challenging for those in need of assistance to receive it. Among these rules is the prohibition on sleeping in public areas even in the absence of a shelter, a prohibition on camping on all public land even when it's empty, a prohibition on begging, a prohibition on keeping personal items in public areas. Homeless groups have attacked these regulations, claiming that they penalize those who are already struggling while doing nothing to address the underlying causes of homelessness. Additionally, they claim that persons with disabilities and people of color are disproportionately affected by these policies. A federal judge declared in 2019 that Phoenix's ban on urban camping was unlawful due to its violation of the Eighth Amendment's ban on unusually harsh punishments. The judge concluded that the law did not offer enough substitute shelter options and that it compelled people to sleep in hazardous and unhealthy conditions. Numerous cities in Arizona still impose anti-homeless policies despite this verdict. A bill that would have made it even more illegal to be homeless was enacted by the Arizona legislature in 2023 and required communities to dismantle homeless camps and prosecute trespassers. Nevertheless, Governor Doug Ducey vetoed the bill. Number 1. Ohio. There are no simple answers to the complex issue of homelessness. In response to homelessness, a few Ohio towns and communities have passed legislation making it illegal to be homeless. It is against the law to panhandle, sleep, or even ask for assistance in public. These anti-homeless legislation frequently have the opposite impact of what is intended. The underlying causes of homelessness, such as poverty, a shortage of affordable housing, and mental illness, are not addressed. Rather, they merely ignore and push homeless individuals out of sight. These laws have occasionally even had tragic results. In Columbus, Ohio, a homeless man by the name of Chris Davis was taken into custody in 2018 for camping in a public park. He suffered a heart attack and died in jail the next day. Numerous anti-homeless laws in Ohio have been contested by the ACLU of Ohio. The ACLU was successful in one instance when they argued that a statute prohibiting sleeping in public parks was unconstitutional. The First Amendment's guarantee of free speech and the Eighth Amendment's ban on cruel and unusual punishment were both violated, the court found. State's share of homeless individuals. Here are a few of Ohio's particular anti-homelessness laws. Camping ban. This rule forbids camping in any public area, including walkways, parks, and doors. Ban on panhandling. This law prohibits begging for alms in public. Ban on loitering. According to this law, it is unlawful to stand around in a public area aimlessly. Proposing for food or shelter in public is prohibited by this law. Do you like it? Kindly give your valuable response in our comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting and informative videos.